Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, May the 24th, 2025, and a little bit late today. It's probably about an hour after we would normally go. Don't know what happened today. We all slept in. Must just be the cold weather. We all just want to snuggle in and sleep in on a Saturday, but it's all good. Needed it last night. We didn't get to bed till a little bit later, so it's all good. Come on, buddy. You coming? All right, on this day. And one fighter, or this next fight actually features twice on the same day, which is an unusual feat. In 1968, light heavyweight great Bob Foster defeated Dick Tiger in 4 rounds to defend that light heavyweight title. That fight took place in New York at Madison Square Garden. The following year, on the same day, he repeated the dose with another 4th round knockout. Just excuse the wind if it's coming through the microphone there too, sorry. It's just one of those days. So he knocked out Andy Kendall in the 4th round, and that fight took place in West Springfield, Massachusetts. Yep, in 1969. In 1976, the legend Muhammad Ali, in one of his many fights that he had overseas, this time he knocked out Richard Dunn in 5 rounds in Munich, Germany. That was for the heavyweight title, of course. In 1995, Japan's Hiroshi Kawashima defeated Korea's Sung-Koo Lee on points in Yokohama, Japan. That was for the World Super Flyweight title. In 2014, Mexico's Johnny Gonzalez defended his WBC featherweight title with actually doesn't have the result there. He defeated Clive Atwell. He was a Ghanaian, I think, from memory, or Guyana or somewhere. And that fight took place in Mexico. And then in 2014, Canada's Adonis Stevenson defeated Poland's Andrzej Fonfara on points in Montreal, Quebec. And that was for the WBC light heavyweight title. Actually, the Fonfara, we actually saw him fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. at the StubHub Centre when we went there in 2015 on our training camp with the Maloney twins. And he knocked Chavez out. What was it? It was about sort of 7, 8 rounds, something like that. Chavez looked really bad. And that was 10 years ago, by the way. And the same Chavez is about to roll into a mega fight, I would say, like with the inverted commas, in the fight with Jake Paul on a big undercard. Actually, on that, the undercard's been released, and I've got to say, it's actually not too bad. They've obviously got Zurdo Ramirez and Dorticos on that card. That's for, what is it, the WBA, WBO? Yes, WBA, WBO, cruiserweight titles. And just announced is Floyd Schofield and Tevin Farmer. Another couple of good fights on there as well. So look, are we for these type of events if they have a good overall card? I suppose that's the question to ask. Normally it's about the YouTube fight and that's all that matters, and who really gives a shit about it. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be free on Netflix. I'm almost tempted, well, I will watch it. It's free on Netflix, of course, but I'm almost tempted to anticipate it a little bit because it's not a bad card. You think Ramirez, well, just having Zurdo Ramirez and Dorticos, I'm not so stressed about Dorticos, but Zurdo Ramirez, of course, he's gearing up for possibly a unification fight later in the year. And Schofield and Farmer's not a bad fight. I don't mind it. There was, as I said, there was another couple other fights that are on there as well that I can't remember. And just on Ramirez as well, David Benavidez, his father was interviewed yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, and he said that David Benavidez will probably fight Callum Smith next. Then he wants to go to cruiserweight. When I saw he wants to go to cruiserweight, the eyes lit up, and then he said, no, we want to fight Zurdo Ramirez. So what does that do for Jai? I mean, if you think that Benavidez and Smith will be later this year, Zurdo and Dorticos is, what date is it? It's in July as well, isn't it? I can't even remember. I haven't really taken much notice, but you would think that if Benavidez and Ramirez fight, it'll be the end of the year. So that rules out this year for Jai and Ramirez. The only good thing about it, I'll say, is that, geez, whoever wins that fight between Benavidez and Ramirez, that fight with Jai becomes one of the biggest fights in world boxing that can be made. So let's say that I would say Benavidez will win that fight. So would it be Benavidez and Opetaia would be huge, and could be for 3 of the 4 belts. So I think we're going to look more long term than short term. I know we'll be disappointed, especially Jai, of course. He'll be pissed because I think probably in his mind he's probably expecting Ramirez next. But yeah, we look at maybe early next year. Maybe we could have an even bigger fight with Benavidez. I did see a video actually just on Jai Opetaia, and yesterday he put on his social media that he's doing a seminar in Melbourne. So it's great news for Melbourne fight fans, especially on top of Terence Crawford's visit next week, by the way. And don't forget to get your tickets for that. But yeah, Jai said he's going to be in Melbourne on July the 20th at a gym in Melbourne to do a seminar and probably a meet and greet and all this sort of stuff. The only problem with that is July 20th is a massive day for boxing here in Australia. I don't know why they would put it on that day. That is the day, of course, that Tim Tszyu is fighting Sebastian Fundora in Las Vegas. We've also got Usyk and Dubois that morning, early morning, in England. So I'm not quite sure they've picked the right day there to have everyone getting up super early to watch Usyk and Dubois. And then you'd probably have the Tszyu Fundora card starting at about 11 o'clock, which will probably go to about 3 o'clock. So yeah, I'm not quite sure that's the best timing for Jai to come to Melbourne. I would hate for him to get there and have nobody there, because they're all at home watching the Usyk, Dubois and Tszyu Fundora, and obviously Manny Pacquiao on that card as well. So yeah, I think hopefully they will rethink that date. Great in theory to come to Melbourne, but yeah, as I said, not a great day for if you want a lot of the Aussie boxing fans there. So, and still on Aussie boxing, yesterday I mentioned the George Kambosos Liam Paro. Well, are we calling it a feud now? I suppose we are, aren't we? We're calling it a feud. Well, Liam Paro has actually come back with a comment because he was called out by, well, George. We went over this yesterday, but Jim had his say as well. Jim actually said, what did he say? Where is it? Never was a real supportive Australian. Just faked it, and now that he has no title belt because of poor management and badly handled negotiations, is allowing the clowns at Main Event to plaster his real thoughts on social media and try to get some clickbait, as he is a forgotten world champion. Talk about shots fired. And I suppose this is a lesson to everyone out there. Don't poke the tiger in Team Kambosos, because they will respond viciously. Look, Liam did respond, by the way. What did he say? I think everyone's just got to take a breath, to be honest, but he said, that's my point of view, and people don't have to agree. We're a country where you have freedom of speech. I'm not going to bluff a comment or say something that I don't believe. That's just not who I am. That's not how I was brought up. I'm just saying it as I see it, nothing personal. I just think that's the way the fight will pan out. Come here, man. No, not going across the road. This way. What else did he say? He says, of course, I'm always going to back the Aussies. Come here. Trying to cross the road here for some reason. Come on. No, we're going to stick on this side of the road. But at the same time, hang on, mate. Come on off the road. Sorry about that, guys. But at the same time, of course, I'm going to back the Aussie, but at the same time, I'm just being real. It could be right. I could be right. It could be wrong. So, look, I think everyone's right in this instance, aren't they? I mean, I think Liam is 100% right by saying, well, you know, I'm just saying it, you know, calling it the way I see it. And I think that he's been in the ring, obviously, with Richardson Hitchens, so he knows him well. I'm not sure whether he's done any rounds with George Kambosos. Doesn't sound like they have. But yeah, I don't begrudge Liam Wilson for saying it the way he is. Maybe, come on, buddy. Maybe the way he sort of went about it, although I did see the interview, and I don't think it was anything spiteful. I think it was just him being honest. But as I said, you don't maybe say that about George if you don't expect repercussions from the team. And look, I think they have grounds for what they said as well. Maybe a little bit over the top as far as being as spiteful as they were. Well, Jim, not so much George. I think he was just disappointed by the sounds of his comments. But look, as I said yesterday, we'll probably fan the flames of maybe a possible fight down the track. But I think everyone's just getting a little bit excited. Look, especially the media. We know they're a little bit backwards here in Australia, but I mean they have latched onto it, which I suppose is a smart thing. Maybe No Limit have seen this and went, "Oh, wow, we've got to run with this just in case George wins that fight, because we might have Liam in the window to maybe challenge him." I don't know, but I think as usual, everyone jumps all over it and probably blows it out more than what it is. But the one interesting thing in that comment though by George and I suppose Jim is the comments towards No Limit, which came from George, and about Main Event, which come from Jim. So you wouldn't expect that George Kambosos will be fighting with No Limit anytime soon, or maybe even on Main Event. Although with the DAZN thing, I suppose all that's going to work, isn't it? Because when they all merge together, he'll be on there through DAZN, I suppose. So anyway, it's always augurs for or adds up to possibly a big fight down the track. I did hear Liam say that, possibly that a fight with himself and George Kambosos could be as big as Mundine Green. I think we're getting a little bit excited with that. I mean, two great fighters here in Australia, and just as good a resumes as what Mundine and Green had. The one thing they don't have though is profile, especially Liam. George is a big name here in Australia. No doubt he would have to probably carry the show. I think it's just one of those instances, unfortunately, where Liam is an excellent fighter, former world champion, of course, but not the most sort of marketable guy. He hasn't really got, I don't think I could see the spitefulness between him and George that we got through Mundine and Green. I mean, both of those guys, Mundine and Green, just had this aura about them, the personalities and just what would you call it, the character, whatever you might want to call it, just that was the perfect storm to make a massive fight. And I just don't think it's good. I think this would be just as good a fight as far as in the ring, but yeah, I've just got doubts whether Liam could sort of carry which side would he be? Would he be Mundine or Green? I suppose it wouldn't matter, would it? But yeah, I'm not sure he's got that in him, to be honest. It's probably a good thing that he hasn't got the spitefulness in him to upset everyone out there. But either way, we will see. Another fight that a massive fight being compared to was Mayweather and Pacquiao. That was by Richard Schaefer. I saw his comment about Canelo and Crawford, that he thinks that Canelo Crawford will be bigger than Mayweather Pacquiao, which I just think is ridiculous. Mayweather Pacquiao did 4.6 million views on pay-per-view just in the States alone. Massive gate, people paying tens of thousands of dollars to sit up the back of the stadium. So I don't think that's going to be the case. Richard Schaefer, though, was one of the promoters for Mayweather and Canelo, which was probably this is the second biggest fight out there, but besides probably the McGregor fight with Mayweather. But look, on one side, he would know. I mean, when he was with Golden Boy, he was, he promoted some of those massive fights back then. But I just can't see it. I can't see Canelo Crawford doing massive numbers. I just can't. Now, if the benchmark is Mayweather and Pacquiao at 4.6, I'm thinking this fight with, thanks Neil, going through the bushes here. I'm just thinking that my probably prediction of pay-per-views would be maybe 1.2, 1.3. That's maybe I'm underestimating, I don't know. But the interest in the fight is not great, I don't think. I think everyone's like, yeah, okay, they're sort of warm to the fact that Crawford might have more of a chance now. That's probably one thing. But has he got the personality and the profile and everything to really engross the boxing public out there? Mayweather and Pacquiao, like Mundine and Green, I just said here in Australia, but on the international level, just two of at the time, the biggest superstars in the sport. I don't see it. I know they're talking about Allegiant Stadium, and if they price it right, yes, they'll sell it out. And I suppose they could say, well, we had 60,000 at our event, and Pacquiao Mayweather only had 15 or 16, whatever it was. But geez, I tell you what, if they had to put Mayweather Pacquiao in a stadium with 100,000, they would have sold 100,000 tickets without doubt. probably twice over. So I think you've got to know where you're at, and I don't know what you guys think. I just don't see it. I think Canelo Crawford, yeah, it's a Canelo fight, but geez, I don't think Canelo's last performance really put a lot of, it didn't for me anyway, really inspire, wow, this is going to be a ripper fight. Look at Canelo, look how good he looked, and look how good Crawford looked. They're both coming off really disappointing fights. Both coming off really disappointing fights where they both battled through it. In Crawford's case, a lot of people said he might even have been a bit lucky. I don't think so. I think he still won the fight, but Canelo looked shocking. I do think maybe he just got through the fight with minimal fuss, to be honest, and didn't exert himself too much. But yeah, let me know what you think. Will it be as big as Mayweather and Pacquiao? As I said, I think it'll generate interest, lots of interest, but I mean, the Mayweather-Pacquiao thing was just ridiculous. It had been coming for years. This is a little bit different with this fight as well. It's sort of been put together in the last probably 3 or 4 months is when people have been talking about putting together. Mayweather and Pacquiao brewed for, 7 years? So a little bit different, and not to mention the fact that you talk about superstars. Mayweather and Pacquiao were the superstars at the time, and Crawford is very well respected amongst boxing fans, but he's not well known outside of boxing. He's not a crossover athlete or boxer or a name, and I think he's going to really struggle to carry the promotion. Canelo is a bona fide superstar. Let's not beat around the bush with that one, but Crawford, on the other hand, for me, is just not that guy. Great fighter, but yeah, I just don't think Canelo Crawford just has the same ring to it as Mayweather Pacquiao, and I think it'll reflect that in the sales of the fight. Well, guys, I think that's sort of almost going to do it for today. One last thing is the World Boxing Amateur Association, whatever it is they've put together now, has just hit 100 countries as well, which is great news. They've just brought on, I think one of the countries was Cuba. I can't remember who the other one was, but it was definitely Cuba, who is obviously one of the main and most successful amateur countries of all time. I think they are actually. I think they have the most gold medals of any country, along with Russia probably. So they have now joined this World Boxing Association, Amateur Association, and will further strengthen the amateur program at the Olympics in 2028. So that's good news. Finally, amateur boxing may be getting back on track and being respected again and welcomed into the Olympic community. So guys, that's going to do it for today. Have a great Saturday. We'll catch you tomorrow.